Thanks a lot, folks, for making time. I know post-lunch sessions are the hardest. We are also trying to stay up. Manish. So the panel has been introduced. We have a fantastic panel and very diverse panel, in fact. So we have aviation, we have FNB, we have insurance, we have consumer durables, and we have the cosmetics category represented by Just Herbs. So I think the topic of this session, it shouldn't be called I was saying midlife crisis, sorry. It should not be called middle funnel crisis. It should be called middle funnel learnings, right? Because we had a catch-up session in the morning with the panel, and we were trying to understand how exactly middle funnel behavior changes from, various spaces. Which brings me to, my first question would be to Manish, Director Technology and Marketing at Yum Brands. So Manish, you come from F&B space, a category which is highly driven by impulse buying behavior. So understanding or building the middle funnel, there's no sure short way to it. There's no definite blueprint. So how exactly are you trying to build the middle funnel in your category? And probably if you could tell us what's working, what's not working, and your learning so far.
Hello. Cool. Thanks, Shiziz. And thanks, iMedia team, for having me here. It's an interesting one, right? So, and like Shiziz rightly mentioned, it's a low decision-making purchase cycle kind of a brand, right? Where it is, like Swiggy interestingly did this campaign, our friend from Swiggy is here, like, aaj khane mein kya hai, sort of, right? So it is always about the quick moments, right? So for us, really building on mid-funnel becomes a big challenge. And we can't even really do from that perspective. And if you look at it, there are 365 days into, let's say if you put 3 meal occasions probably in a day, then we are talking about 1,000 plus occasions for each consumer. Then the game becomes how much you are salient during those moments, those food occasions, when the decisions are being made. Are you accessible? Are you relevant? Do you have the right consideration for the brand? And hence, a lot of these things that we do is about building the top funnel only. Middle funnel and mid funnel for us is quite fungible, right? And even if you have to say what are the possible things that are in the mid funnel, I will say possibly awareness. Everyone knows Pizza Hut in the country. Whether they are considering you or not, it becomes the relevant thing. So everything is about driving consideration. And when we talk about driving consideration, then it is about for this moment, for this occasion, whether I'm relevant or not. So maybe influencer content, I would put as maybe mid funnel, where people can drive your consideration. I know all the brands. I know McD, Domino's, Pizza Hut, KFC, blah, 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 blah. But whether I'm considering you for this occasion or not, that becomes the biggest factor. And the two things that plays the important role is, I would say, value and occasion. So we tend to play big on these. So when there is a moment when we know that there would be strong searches for the brand, like cricket match days and things like those, how are we becoming easily accessible and easily relevant to consumers, depending on what kind of group size it is, what value we are offering, whether it is relevant when a family is watching match together, then what kind of food size is needed, right? So based on that, what is the per person cost and things like those start playing bigger roles. So from the mid-funnel perspective, we look at whatever our audience sets are who have seen our shown interest with us. We'll try building on those remarketing audience. Push notifications plays a brilliant role where it is almost like most cost-effective way possible to reach out to your consumer and remind them on every lunch, dinner occasions that, oh, this is the moment, why don't you order with us, right? So playing on the value, playing with the occasion, I think becomes the biggest lever for us to kind of move people who are in the mid-funnel or are considering us or not considering us.
Correct. Wonderful insights, Manish. I think one point that you had mentioned, we were discussing earlier. So you come from an industry which is very heavy on the aggregator ecosystem, right? So how exactly are you trying to discern your brand first initiatives versus the aggregators? Of course, some brands have done it, like Domino's recently changed their entire pizza box packaging. They were also talking about moments, right? They're talking about various moments, various cohorts that would probably bring people together to have a pizza. So something in those directions, how exactly on the D2C lens you're probably approaching this?
See, and this has been spoken in many forums, from marketplace to food aggregators for us. The frenemy relation, whether how much, and it all depends on the profitability levers, right? We know that some of these marketplaces may not be the most profitable channels, but those are the necessary growth partners, right? So for us, it is also will be accessible, and that's what I was mentioning, that accessibility is important. If cricket moments are happening, and if there are enough audience on Zomato and Swiggy, I want to be able to pull that kind of marketing resources to get people in on my app, right? So it's also about leveraging the accessibility, leveraging the moment. So being accessible there, being accessible with the right value, right offers, so that you are beating other consideration set competitive brands, so that consumer considers you over others for those big moment days becomes an important lever, right? But yeah, if you are able to deliver great customer experience, deliver consistent good product quality, customer will become loyal. It is not the loyalty you can buy. You'll have to deliver something to consumer to become loyal to you. And once you do that 2, 3 orders consecutively, then obviously consumer would be very highly prone to order from you or install your app and do that additional step. And then the third step becomes once he has ordered it, then what kind of experience you are offering him? Is there a different consumer proposition that you can offer which is not available on marketplace? That's the whole game on this piece.
Interesting, Manish. Even though you come from Pizza Hut, you didn't give any cheesy insights. Very actionable ones. Thanks for that. Moving on to Mayank, who comes from a very different category. And we were lucky enough to be on the same panel 2 weeks ago. We were discussing AI. And so, Mayank, your category is a kind of a high involvement category, right? Where the ticket size is probably upwards of like 15,000 or maybe, running probably into lakhs now that you're into the, foldable devices. I think, how would you define, the mid funnel for your cohort? Because the SKU sizes is massive, right? Probably you have to reinvent every time. What do you have to say about your category?
So I think the topic itself from a mid-funnel crisis, I think it's not a mid-funnel crisis for us, it's a mid-funnel opportunity for us. See, given that for us, it's a new launch happening every month, maybe sometime twice a month, right? So for us, it's every time the same AI PI funnel to be built from a brand to awareness to interest and a purchase, right? So we very heavily focus on brand, followed by the middle funnel. So the purchase happen by it. So definitely purchase being a organization, we have to be profitable. So purchase stays as a focus, but it's a byproduct for a middle funnel. So if I give you an example, right? Whenever, say, it's like my curiosity to asking to my management also was, why do you launch a new phone every month or every alternate month? And that's thanks to our partners also, they also add to our value. So any given month, there are 2 to 3 devices coming new from either by us or our competition, right? So what is something there it is to be like, why don't we have one product like Apple does one product a year and throughout the year, right? But from an Android ecosystem, from a technology ecosystem, and from when we say there was an internet which was a great evolution followed by mobile, right? So there is such a high expectation in day-to-day life from a consumer. And the technology, it keeps on evolving on a month-on-month basis. So what we produce a device today is somehow being planned maybe a year back, where the cycle is already being planned and the features being there. So I see the IP 08 to a 18 to a 68, now it's a IP 108, right? So that's how the technology keeps on also moving. So what we understand is where is definitely the brand works a lot, and you have to be, because you launch, so brand, the upper funnel has to be talked about the device, not from a Vivo, but from a particular device which is being launched. Followed by then the middle funnel is to be evolved in terms of why and what is there in the phone. So wherein I think there is a multiple tactics which we use. One is segmentations. So we segment our TGs into various buckets. And what we start doing is we're starting our marketing efforts for those buckets separately. So that's one side of business. Another thing what we also do is a personalization. Why? Because every person, apart from a calling, messaging needs, there's a different consumer have different needs using their devices. Some use for business purpose, some use for camera purpose, some use for travel, and XYZ. So that type of personalization communication is something which make more sense for us. Now, how to drive these to the consumer? So we see various channels which support us throughout this ecosystem for the middle funnel. I think the first one which I'll say will be a content marketing. Wherever we go for a content marketing, any good content gives you that brand quality, the brand trust, which actually consumer is looking for. So I think that's the content marketing works wonders for us. Follows by a lot of influencer marketing during this middle funnel. Why? Because there is someone else on your behalf is actually talking about what the day-to-day life or day-to-day activity or day-to-day usage of that particular feature. So for me, using a camera could be something, getting a portrait. For somebody who is doing a travel, something else. Somebody getting into a nature is something else. But see, honestly speaking, even if an entire forum, people have a lot of phones, which is a 50K or a 1 lakh rupees of phone, the most common habit to say for a camera is you will just open the phone, open the camera and just click it. There are a lot of features in your phone about the camera, within the camera itself. You don't even know about those features. And these what we are building up. So it is like our responsibility to build that advocacy via the influencers. Okay, what is this feature all about? So that you come to know and you take the right decision before purchasing. So that's from influencers. By default, when you are able to make these two, content and an influencer strategy, your social engagement definitely keeps on coming because people start showing interesting in your content. So I think these are the few three pillars which definitely works a lot for us. Last but not the least, I think the PR strategy, if everything is going wow, at the same time, if there is a media advocacy happening on the top of it, wherein the right product with the right consumer and even the media is too positive about you, I think it works like a cherry for us. Yeah, that's how I think we focus more on the brand, followed by the middle funnel. Purchase definitely, even if you see if consumer, so awareness in a brand is a source of awareness. But there is always a point wherein the consumer say, okay, I need a phone, but which phone to do? That is the middle funnel which concludes for you. And once he lands into a purchase cycle, it's all about the cashback, the EMIs, the discount offers, and XYZ. That's a different ball game altogether. But to reach to that particular point, there's a lot of work to be done. And I think these are the few channels which definitely supports us. So we particularly focus on brand and the middle funnel. Purchase happens, but happens as an output of these two.
Understood. Very interesting. So yeah, you mentioned, when we were catching up outside that when Vivo entered India, it was like a media blitzkrieg, right? They painted the town blue, like literally, wherever you go. If there is an empty space, you'll see a Vivo blue there. It soon so became that, that cobalt blue color, what I would associate with Vivo. I have a follow-up question to that. Yeah, so very well defined strategies that you have in terms of acquisition and retention. There's always there's always an ongoing conversation that probably the next million users or the billion users are probably tapped in the tier 1 or 2 markets, or let's say the smart cities in India, right? So do you have any, totally discerning strategy to tap into those markets? How exactly, you're kind of shaping up your communication in those markets? So traditionally that we see that there's a lot of aspiration tapped in these markets, right? Probably if you say, let's say, you go to an Indore or a Bhopals of the world, right? You will see the adoption and the internet penetration is solid, and so is the content creation scene. So how exactly are you trying to probably, if at all you are, with a definite strategy, tapping into these markets using your strategies?
See, that's why I'm saying wherein there's definitely a brand communication, a DVC or a TVC, which brand makes, right? It is again what brands want to make, right?
Right.
When I say about a content strategy or say a influencer strategy, it works wonder for us. Why? Because we have understood I have a phone with 4 features to be defined.
Yeah.
Our brief to the influencer is, okay, these are the 4 features to be talked.
Yeah.
How do you want to talk? How do you want to show is up to you. What we are going to do is before that's going air as a brand responsibility, we'll make sure the way you are showcasing it and the claim you are making is as per the brand guidelines. But you are influencer because people follow you because of something, because of your own trade, because of your own way of communication. So I think giving that freedom to that influencer, because it helps us 2 ways. One is an extended reach beyond the brand. Secondly, is also the regional languages which they make on. It works dual purpose for us. So the communication is being made in a way of a consumer, he wants to consume the content. At the same time, the USP of the brand or the feature of the brand is being communicated. I think that way is give us a lot of advantage in digital ecosystem.
Yeah, and ultimately adds to a middle funnel. It ultimately adds to a middle
It
funnel.
definitely adds to a middle funnel. Why? Because it's not about camera. It's about what in the camera.
Absolutely.
What is you want to do? What
Yeah.
is if you are a family person, how do you capture your child?
Correct.
If you are a traveler, if you are a wild photographer, how you capture a tiger?
Yeah.
If you into a traveling night and you're in the stars, how do you capture the moon?
Correct.
So
So the
that's how the
concentration,
features it
yeah.
actually gives up.
Your
Yeah.
consideration level is not just one level, there are many levels you have to deep down. Yeah, wonderful. So we'll move on to a category which probably runs on the fear of unknown or, so to speak, uncertainty. Moving on to Prasad from Kotak Life. Prasad, your industry is kind of, the interactions the consumer have with the brand is not probably as high frequently, as the other categories like FMCGs of the world. So how exactly are you defining what is that stage in the consumer's life cycle that you in insurance define as the middle funnel, and what's working for you guys? Like what are you kind of tapping into various digital strategies, or if any other lever that you're using to fortify and nurture this middle funnel?
When we talk about life insurance per se as a category, as you mentioned that the transactions are not too many, you end up buying one or two policies in your entire life, and you believe that that is going to take care of your family's future and your future as well. It's also not an exciting category for the consumers, correct? I do not wake up in the morning and say that, okay, wow, today I'm going to purchase life insurance. This is what I was looking forward to. There is no aspiration connected to the category. It's important, but there is no aspiration to get into that particular part. The second thing with this particular category is it's not that easy. Though everybody understand, awareness is not a problem for this category. Life Insurance Corporation, LIC, is doing it from so many years, and from last 23, 25 years, most of the private life insurance companies like 24 now are also building awareness about importance of life insurance, correct? And they have been talking about the risk which people carry in their life, whether it is risk of dying early, which is the risk of mortality, risk of getting disease, that is risk of morbidity, and risk of longevity, that is outliving your savings. Those all three risks people are aware about. But problem comes when people are aware about it, but when it comes to action, it all depends upon how many nudges you are giving to the customer. And that's why life insurance traditionally is considered as a push product. So from that particular perspective, doing something at the top of the funnel works for life insurance company like any other category is only for the new product launches. If you're doing something innovative, something new, something which you're bringing as a new feature, like recently we launched a product called Gen to Gen Protect. Now that product is all about not just one generation is getting covered under term plan, but after father, the premium will be refunded back to the father if he survives, and that cover will go to his child without any cost. So that's a new feature. It's an innovation in the market. For that, we will definitely look for something which is top of the funnel. We'll go and we'll talk about the feature. We'll build awareness for that feature. But otherwise, if it is a normal product, which is a commodity kind of a product, like a term insurance is a term insurance, you die, your family gets the money, that's the only benefit it offers. Those kind of products, generally what you have seen, that it doesn't help much to go top of the funnel. It's all about finding the consumer who is in the frame of exploring the product, or finding the customer who is in the frame or thinking about purchasing the product. So for us, the most important funnel becomes bottom funnel, where somebody is actually actively looking for purchasing the product, and I would say even not complete middle funnel, it's bottom of the middle funnel where generally any of the life insurance companies will operate from, where there is an in-market audience who is actively searching for the product, might not have thought about what to purchase, when to purchase, because again, it's a long-term product, contracts run from 35 to 50 years in size. So for those set of customers, taking that one decision doesn't come as an impulse. It's a thought-through decision, or somebody has pushed customer to purchase it. So from that perspective, which is bottom of the middle funnel and bottom funnel, what works well for us is the Google and Meta ecosystem. Though we all think that there is universe beyond these two, but these two ecosystems work well for us, and a mid to bottom funnel kind of a campaign, and always on campaign, is what works fantastic for the category like life insurance. And when I say what it works is the kind of KPIs we want to drive. Right? We just don't want to drive awareness, and customer is getting aware about term insurance importance. We nudge him and he ends up purchasing somebody else's product. He goes to any aggregator's website, compares, finds a product which is cheaper than our product, and ends up purchasing from them. So that awareness doesn't work well with us. How we look at it, the people who are currently in the market, can they consider Kotak Life as a brand for their next purchase? That's the entire focus of our mid-funnel, bottom of the mid-funnel, I'm repeating that. That's where we predominantly focus on. And once they come into it and they click on my communication, most of these campaigns, what we do are on CPC. The only reason is I want more and more click. I want higher frequency, lesser reach, but on to this set of customers, I want higher frequency to nudge them more. And once they click, once they become part of my website ecosystem, then I can nudge them further. Then there are so many mechanisms to which I can nudge. I can do browser notifications, I can do multiple things with the customer to move him into finally the purchase decision, which is giving a lead. Again, for any of the categories, I think your conversion ratios would be in double digits, percentage-wise. In life insurance, even if I get a single digit, low single digit, I am really happy because people don't decide immediately. It's a long journey which they do along with multiple brands simultaneously, and finally they decide. So for us, target them, bring them onto the website, engage with them content as much as possible. Once they finalize, okay, I want to purchase, again, push them to purchase immediately. If they don't want to do it, do complete chase marketing around it so that we know that this set of customers who have dropped the journey at this particular phase, do a chase marketing which is segmented specific to those set of customers. So that's how we build it. In fact, the last campaign we had done for our Kotak Assured Savings Plan, which is again a commodity kind of a product which offers fixed returns to the customers at the time of maturity. We tried that campaign with objectives of getting website visits, increasing our search volume. It was again mid-funnel campaign, increasing the search volume and getting as much as traffic possible on our website. And it worked fantastic for us.
Very interesting, Prasad. I think fairly detailed also. If I have to probably try to draw parallels between what Manish said and what you said, I think one keyword that comes to the fore is moments, right? You are trying to, be in the consideration set or at least be visible to your target audience at the right moment, right? So do you have any such moment-specific probably strategies or communications or probably campaigns that you activate? Like, for example, let's say someone starts a new job and, they are being onboarded through, let's say, a Kotak Bank and they're getting a credit card or something. So that becomes a, first job segmented kind of a user. Similarly, if someone is purchasing, let's say, or someone has purchased a product from you around and their age, so to speak, and you have some directional data through which you will try to give some intervention, right? So is there any life cycle behavior or any defined moments in industry like yours where you give the necessary nudge and it, adds to your bottom of the mid funnel?
Yeah. So how it works that life stage definitely plays an important role. Majority of the customers end up investing into a term insurance when they get married or when they get a child. So at that point of time, they realize there are responsibilities on me and I need to take care of those responsibilities. So those life stage based triggers are there. But as an industry, we are also trying to attempt offering a product to every set of consumers. Like for example, for life insurance, the young customers are quite away from us. They do not think about purchasing a life insurance when they start early. And we created a separate product for them called Protect Young India, which was dedicated for the customers who are in the age group of 18 to 30. It was a low ticket size product. We were starting at as low as 150 rupees for a year to some product which are 120 rupees a month. We reduced the sum assured for those set of customers. Most of the life insurance products don't come below 25 lakh. We had this product only for less than 25 lakh sum assured. That entire attempt was to influence them, nudge them, and bring them into the thought process of life insurance. We all knew at that point of time, they might not go ahead and purchase that product, but they will think about life insurance, and by the time they hit a life stage, maybe a first job or a marriage, at that point of time, they will get into that particular product life cycle. So that kind of initiatives industry will take. Same thing, something similar as a segment, a self-employed as a segment. They generally don't get into a term insurance much because they expect return out of every single investment they are doing. And as a result, what happens, they don't purchase a term insurance just by saying, it is not offering me any returns at the end of my policy term, nothing happens to me, I waste my money. So for those set of customers, we brought a product called Tulip, which is nothing but a combination of term plus ULIP. So if something happens to you, the term takes care of that corpus for your family. If nothing happens to you, ULIP is taking care of your returns story. So that's how we normally work with the consumers, basis their problems and challenges to come into the funnel when we talk about.
I think kudos to Kotak. I think the kind of products that you have come up with, it's fantastic because there's a need for that and you're probably trying to attract them at the right life stage. And from your answer, and I came up with an example. I'm not sure how many of you are aware. There was kind of an OH Blitzkrieg Tata AIA Life Insurance did, where they placed term insurance advertising, OOH. I think they did something like similar on Moments, right? But I'm really happy that you guys are
They
doing
had done
so
something
many.
like if you're purchasing a product, it's a sari shop,
Yeah.
this famous sari shop.
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
they had shown that for your needs for sari, this is the best thing to do.
For your
needs
insurance,
for
yeah.
insurance
But
is the
I'm
best
glad
thing to
that
do.
marketers are
Yeah.
thinking in the Moment direction. That's fantastic. Moving on to Arush, your category. I think if we look at from a distance, you know, the consumers category that you come from is apparently, you know, has a lot of brands right now, right? And of course, they are very heavy on performance, they're heavy on retention, they're heavy on retargeting as well. So how exactly, you know, Just Herbs is trying to position itself in the market and trying to build a very solid middle funnel and try to have customers that are always coming back to you?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. First of all, being a startup in the beauty space, which is very competitive, we first had to reimagine the funnel itself, right? I mean, we are an omni-channel brand. I mean, who knows what is top, what is middle, what is bottom? She could see you in the shop and then come on the website and then buy you on Amazon and then see you on Nykaa. I mean, who knows, right? So while you do those top of the funnel brand ads, YouTube ads, etc., but how we thought is that our top of the funnel are going to be people who actually buy from us, right? So as we are building top of the funnel, we're also building revenue, right? And for that, what we thought about is like what Sir just mentioned, that you take a product which can be broken down into a smaller bit, which is very, very cheap. And to arrive at that product, we looked at customer cohorts. So we were seeing one of the cohorts we were studying was that which is that one product which gives customers the maximum delight, which shows into repeat revenue every month, not repeat customers, but revenue cohorts, right? And we found that product to be, let's say, our ghee lipsticks, which were quite unique. So we said, okay, can we make a pack of 16 of these, right, and give it at a very silly price point, which becomes a no-brainer for anybody to buy, distribute crores and crores of coupons every month on things like GPay, PhonePe, etc., where we can target that female cohort which has that spending power. And consistently over the past year, we're seeing that people who buy that pack, the AOV doubles on the next order, right? And then we kind of introduce them to the ecosystem of the brand, and then we tell them, oh, you know what, we have skincare, we have hair care, we have so many other things. So that's that funnel. So, if you want to call it that, has been working for us well, right? So it's slightly different way of thinking about it. It's not an impression-based top of the funnel, but it's a purchase-based top of the funnel.
It's actually phenomenal that, you know, a new age brand is basically, you know, so focused on consumers that probably, you know, the only moment of truth that matters to you is when they show second or third time interest in you, right? So very solid principles in terms of consumer first approach.
But I think the advantage which I think they cracked out here is though they are working for the brand ecosystem, they were also able to realize demos. So for we, because if it's your low, no-brainer lipstick being going into, it's at the top of the brand itself, there's a demo being generated, right? And if they like the product and they're coming back for, say, a value of X,
Correct.
they definitely convert into a 2X or 3X of given because you're able to co-promote the other products also, which is, if for a lower category, definitely it makes, I think it's a good job done out there.
No, absolutely. And Arush, I think before the session when we were briefly chatting, you mentioned that newer players in the market like quick commerce has really revolutionized the way we operate right now, right? And people are buying things left, right, and like I bought a Batman figurine because I love figurines on Blinkit. Like they should not have done that. I'm spending too much money on Blinkit. So what has been your learning like in terms of quick commerce? Like are you heavily present there, or is it a mix of D2C versus the aggregator market?
Just to give you some context, when we started on quick commerce, we thought people only buy chips and Maggie on it, right? Who's going to buy makeup and lipsticks and kajal? Today, I think the category managers at Blinkit tell us that we are the largest lipstick sellers on the platform. And we tried with a very tight selection of, let's say, 8 products, of which 4 really hit the ball out of the park. The others we took off the platform. So it's a very tight selection. There's nail paint, there's kajal, there's lipsticks, and it's scaled up very, very well. It's become a channel for us, second only to Amazon, very quickly.
Very interesting. So everyone in the room, please remember Just Herbs, and they are the best sellers in the lipstick category. And I'm sure I'm ensuring top of the mind recall Just Herbs, Just Herbs. Please remember, right? Wonderful insights, Arush. Would you like to tell us what exactly is working on the offline ecosystem? Because you said sampling is, it's a very important moment in the customer lifecycle journey. And for a category like yours, sampling can probably make or break the consideration view for the consumer, right? So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, we do a lot of it, even from a commercial sense, right? I mean, you're only booking COGS, right? When you do samples, so it's a very P&L focused, scrappy sort of an entrepreneur setup. So you're thinking about all these things. So in the offline world, of course, yeah, I mean, we like offline. At least your costs of acquisition don't go up every day. It's a fixed rental you pay, and we do distribute a lot of samples. People love it. We created in such a way that consumers actually fight for samples, right? They want to break down their orders. If there's an order threshold and they've shopped above it, they want to break down those orders and get more samples. And then we see repeats also. So every quarter, it's a new product that we are sampling, and in the next few quarters, we track how are the repeat sales coming. So we try to track it pretty religiously, even in the offline space.
Very interesting. So I just have an anecdote to share with all of you. A few months back, I got a sleep gummy sample with my Blinkit order. It was by Vicks. It was called ZQuil, right? So only out of curiosity, I wanted to try it, and I ate it, and in half an hour, I slept. But the next day I got up, I had no memory of taking this sample. So probably that sampling did not go too well. Thanks a lot, Arush. I think wonderful insights there. Actually, good to see that, D2C brands are very conscious of the way they approach customers and the way they approach them in the marketing life cycle as well. Moving on to the next segment of our discussion, I have one common question to ask to the entire panel, and let's see how exactly, they are probably able to share their experiences. So the question is, it's as simple that you represent various brands across various categories, right? If you have to tell us what's actually working for you to build a very solid consideration set of customers who have very high propensity to come back to you in terms of being active transactors. So if you could tell us on the digital ecosystem what's working. Let's begin with you, Arush.
Yeah, I think to be able to distribute a reasonably priced product, not a very high value product at scale, right, digitally. And for us, that has been, payment, UPI apps, essentially. Scratch coupons in UPI apps has worked really, really well for us. We've been able to do some really meaningful work there. And the best part is that customer gets driven to our own website, so we own that data. And then we can keep sort of analyzing it and seeing how those cohorts are behaving month on month. So that has been I would say, something noteworthy for us in the past couple of years.
Fantastic. Mayank, what do you have to say about your experience?
So unfortunately, I think for us, it's the repeat cycle goes for a year to a 15 months to 18 months to at most to 24 months. But definitely, I think there's a huge change which we have seen in the consumer behavior. Given that, if you see the entire category itself, forget about Vivo, but for the entire category, the road is to a premiumization now, right? Wherein we see the ASP, the normal ASP, which used to be a 17,000 to a 18, within 2 years, it comes to a 30K plus. So that is the pace on the entire category is moving. So at the same time, it's good for us. Why? Because the ASP is getting, the profitability is increasing, and hence it's a larger good for us. But at the same time, the challenge comes into affordability, right? Why? Because if it's more premium and a device costs you a 50K, then a 70K, then a 1 lakh and a 1.5 lakhs, and accordingly that affordability has to come. So I think the way we are able to crack it is via the financial partners, wherein we are able to give those low cost or a free cost or a free interest EMIs. So landing into a page wherein it's almost like a 4,000 per month or a 3,000 per month or maybe a 5,000 rupees per month type of stuff, wherein a consumer is able to afford. So it's a like a dual win situation for consumer and for us both. For us is getting into a more premium zone. We are able to sell product at a higher price with a better quality. At the same time, consumer is able to afford those products because it's in a low cost or this is a no EMI, in some that case, no interest EMI. So I think that was we are able to bridge the gap. But the only thing I think what we also see is there is no brand loyalty. Even if it stays with iOS, it's just because of the ecosystem wherein you have a Apple Watch, you have a Apple laptop, you have a Apple like anything. That's an ecosystem out there. But when you go to an Android ecosystem, it's all about the product and the feature. If you are able to crack a good product and able to communicate it in a user's life, I think that's a win situation for you. At the same time, you get that affordability where he can have those EMIs in place. I think a game is game for us. Yeah.
Very interesting. I think we have very, similar learnings because so I come from aviation and people don't almost travel every, second week or third week. It's not a, impulse buying category. And of course, the ticket sizes are pretty similar. So we are always focused on, like you have SKU releases, models, we have destinations, right? That's what we focus on, probably romanticizing and probably getting users into the fold to consider the destination, right? And digitally, we have seen I mean, there are a lot of, ad ecosystems out there that are helping you build the funnel. But personally, for travel, we have seen Performance Max is working brilliantly. But as long as you understand the path, right? Because I was looking at a campaign and I saw that, for one conversion, there were almost like 18 touch points, right? There were 18 inventories being served at different point of time for one conversion. That was just one way of example. On an average, or probably let's say we have to take a median of the, the touch points that are happening on that scale, would be roughly around at least 7 to 8 interactions for them to get into the consideration funnel. So I think it's always important to understand how exactly,
See, exactly, because see, this is brand point of view. Understand from a consumer point of view, what he is asking for more and more at a lesser and lesser cost.
Absolutely.
Like if I go from a device category, what they want is a more lighter phone, but more features.
Correct.
They want a more battery, but a lighter phone.
Yeah.
Boss, how can you ask me for a heavy battery but ask me a lighter phone? But we as a brand have to take the responsibility and develop those products, right? That means more R&D goes, more cost goes up. So it's also like I'd say a responsibility on us in terms of to deliver what consumer is asking, but at the same time get into a cost and able to just justify that cost to consumer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Prasad, what do you think? Like, what's working for you and what's your learning so far?
From digital business perspective, what is working for us is obviously what I mentioned about that entire chase marketing and complete thing, what we do with the customers. But the important thing is currently when we talk about online business, majority of our customers would be in the age group of 28 to 40, correct? The very young are not purchasing life insurance because they don't feel a need for it immediately. And above 40 have need, but they are fulfilling that need offline. In fact, one more challenge what we face when we talk about online is 50% of the customers who convert, because once I have done all the activities, 50% convert online. They do the entire journey on their own with the help of some telecaller who is assisting them. But remaining 50% are converting by going to their relationship manager, going to some insurance agent to fulfill their needs. So for us as a category, the challenge to be solved is twofold. One is, how do I ensure that the customers who are 28 to 40 who are currently my target segments purchasing it, how do I ensure that remaining 50% don't go somewhere else and purchase it from online channel itself? You need to simplify the processes for them to do that entire journey on their own without fearing anything. And second is the 40 plus segment. If those customers are currently purchasing grocery online, if those customers are currently purchasing mobile phones online, even televisions online nowadays, so why can't they purchase life insurance online? That's the other challenge what as a category we would like to solve for. It's a huge category because they have most of the money. That's the life stage they are, midlife, where they have a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People buy from people, right? That's why probably the banking system thrives so much on one-to-one interactions. But it's very good to see that probably what Arush mentioned and what you mentioned, you are very strongly focused on products that are actually delivering, right? And then you go deep dive into, where exactly the moments are, then what channel comes in, and that thing comes into perspective. So it's a wonderful mix of, the panel that we have here. Manish, time for cheese.
I know. So even the screen that the audience can't see but has become the color of the cheese. So last 1 minute to go. I think what is working is
What is working is this mic.
what is working is this mic. So what I've seen is that in the bottom of the funnel or sort of thing that we're talking about, the mid funnel, for us, what works best is getting people onboarded on your own app. They have the best frequency of consumption. They have the best average order value. and I'm not saying that just because they have come on app, it may not be the causation, it may be the correlation only, right? So somebody who's likely to order or from your app is probably only the loyal customers of yours, right? So as far as those kind of audiences are there, cast your net wide and get them on your journey. You can have better control on the entire journey with consumers. You can deliver better experience that nurtures further repeats. So I think so far in my journey, getting people on your own app ecosystem has been a very path-breaking exercise.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Manish. Even, I am just trying to, work on the similar path in my current role, trying to, shift the needle towards D2C in an industry which is heavily, dominated by aggregators. Fantastic discussion, I think, with the panel today. And of course, we have so many strategies. We have ecosystems, we have channels, we have people, we have products. But, on top of all of that, I would like to just give one, one-liner that I gave in the last panel when Manish and I were together. So on top of all of this, sits data, right? How exactly are you setting your data practices right? It's very important. Like, once you spend lakhs of rupees and you don't have attribution, then you'll understand the importance of data. So I always say that for every marketer, your daily prayer has to be, itni shakti hame dena data, right? So every morning I walk into the office, I have to see 5 dashboards and see what's working, what's not working. And, we need to probably keep that in mind. But I think we managed on time, Shiny. We can take questions from the audience if we have any questions. We would love to answer.
We'll take them offline.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience. आपने बहुत अच्छे से सुना हमें. We had a great time. Thank you so much, guys.
Can we give a huge round of applause, please? Could I request all the panelists to come together for a group photo, please?